In this video, we'll dive deep into the fascinating world of Aztec mythology, a rich and complex belief system that influenced nearly every aspect of the Aztec civilization. The Aztecs, one of the most powerful civilizations in Mesoamerica, created a vibrant mythological framework that guided their understanding of the world and their place in it. We'll explore the key gods of the Aztec pantheon, such as the feathered serpent Quetzalcoatl, the war god Huitzilopochtli, and the goddess of the earth Tezcatlipoca. How did these deities shape the Aztecs' views on creation, sacrifice, and the forces of nature? Next, we'll take a look at the central myths of the Aztec culture, including the creation myths and the concept of the five suns. What do these stories reveal about the Aztec understanding of life, death, and the cosmic cycles? But Aztec mythology wasn't just about stories. Cosmology played an essential role in their daily lives. The gods weren't distant figures, they were part of the Aztecs' reality, influencing everything from agriculture to warfare to governance. How did mythology shape the Aztec political systems? Why were elaborate rituals and human sacrifices seen as essential to maintaining the balance of the universe? Join us as we uncover how Aztec mythology was deeply woven into the fabric of their society, helping to define their identity, culture, and worldview. Aztec creation myths, like those of the Greeks and Hebrews, reflected deeply rooted cultural values and views on life, death, and the cosmos, but they each had their unique perspective and narratives. Aztec creation myths, particularly the myth of the five suns, emphasize clinical time and the constant renewal of life. The Aztecs believed the world went through several stages of creation and destruction, each governed by a different sun. This view of the universe is dynamic, ever-changing, and dependent on the ongoing efforts of the gods, including the necessary acts of sacrifice to maintain balance and prevent the world from collapsing into chaos. In contrast, Greek creation myths, especially those in the Theogony, present a more linear narrative where the world begins from chaos, giving rise to a structural pantheon of the gods like Gaia, Earth, and Uranus, Sky. The Greek gods often embody human-like traits engaged in complex relationships of rivalry, love, and vengeance, which influence the world's and humanity's existence. The Greeks, unlike the Aztecs, didn't have a recurring destruction and rebirth cycle, but rather a more static world governed by gods who were sometimes indifferent or capricious towards human affairs. Hebrew creation stories, as told in the Bible, particularly in Genesis, presents a singular divine act of creation by a singular God. The narrative is linear and focuses on the creation of the world, humanity, and the establishment of order. Unlike Aztec myths that involve the god's sacrifice to ensure life, the Hebrew story emphasizes God's sovereignty and power in creating a good and orderly world, with humanity's role being to steward and care for it. While all these mythologies speak to human desire to understand the origins of life, the Aztec myth focus on balance, sacrifice, and the clinical nature of time, reflecting a worldview where the gods' active participation in creation is essential to sustaining the universe. The Greek myths celebrate the complexity and agency of the gods in a more anthropocentric manner, while the Hebrew creation story focuses on a singular, benevolent creator and the moral responsibility of humanity. Each story offers insight into the culture's worldview and understanding of the human place in the universe. Aztec mythology deeply reflects the values and priorities of their civilization, which centered on balance, sacrifice, and the interconnectedness of life and death. These themes were not just abstract ideas, but practical guiding principles that shaped the way the Aztecs viewed their relationship with the gods, the cosmos, and each other. Sacrifice and reciprocity, the Aztecs believed that their gods had sacrificed themselves for the creation and sustenance of the world. The idea of reciprocity was central to their mythology and everyday life. The gods required nourishment in the form of offerings and sacrifices, primarily human, so that the sun could rise and the universe could be maintained. This emphasis on sacrifice reflects the Aztecs' belief that life and death were inseparable and that the gods' effort to sustain the world had to be continuously honored through human actions. The regular offering of blood, particularly in warfare, was seen as a way of giving back what had been given to them, thus maintaining harmony between humans and the divine. Cosmic order and balance. The Aztec mythology also highlights the importance of cosmic balance. The myth of the five suns shows a worldview where multiple creations and destructions took place, with each cycle of life requiring efforts to maintain the order of the universe. This reflects the Aztecs' desire for balance and stability in society, where the forces of nature and the gods needed to be respected and nurtured to prevent chaos. The regular rituals, festivals, and practices such as the Tezcatlipoca ceremony dedicated to the god Tezcatlipoca reinforce the importance of maintaining the cosmic balance, where everything, life, death, and human actions, had its place and purpose. The role of the king and priesthood. The Aztec king and the priesthood were seen as intermediaries between the gods and the people, responsible for upholding the rituals that ensured the continued favor of the gods. Their role in performing sacred ceremonies and sacrifices often linked the Aztec myths of divine kingship, reflected the centralization of power within religious and political structures. The king's role as a living god, often associated with figures like Quetzalcoatl, the feathered serpent god, highlights the intertwining of religion and politics in Aztec society. In summary, Aztec mythology reflects the civilization's priority of maintaining cosmic balance, honoring the gods through sacrifice, celebrating the importance of warfare and conquest, and centralizing religious and political power. The gods, having given their blood to create the world, required nourishment in the form of offerings, specifically human blood, to maintain the balance of the universe. The Aztecs saw human sacrifice as a necessary way of reciprocating this divine gift, a means of giving the gods satisfied and the world in an order. Cosmic balance and the clinical nature of time. The Aztecs' worldview was deeply rooted in a cyclical understanding of time. They believed that the universe went through cycles of creation and destruction, each ruled by a different sun. The continued recreation and substance of the cosmos required constant attention. The Aztecs believed that the flow of energy between the gods, humans, and the natural world was a delicate balance. Human blood and the ultimate offerings was thought to replenish this energy, fueling the sun and ensuring the cosmic cycles continued without interruption. In this sense, sacrifice was vital to keeping the sun moving across the sky, ensuring the harvest, fertility, and the daily rhythms of life. Maintaining the sun's journey, one of the most significant myths tied to human sacrifice involved the sun. The Aztecs believed that the sun needed human blood to rise each day. Without this sacrifice, the sun would not rise and the world would fall into darkness. Huitzilopochtli, the god of the sun and war, required human offerings to maintain his strength and ability to defeat the forces of darkness during his daily journey across the sky. The Aztecs saw themselves as cosmic stewards responsible for ensuring the sun's daily rise was guaranteed through acts of sacrifice, thus ensuring life would continue. War and sacrifice as a means of substance. The Aztecs also believed that war and sacrifice were intrinsically connected. Capturing prisoners in war was seen as a way of proving the gods with the offerings they required. The military conquests of the Aztec Empire were, therefore, not only politically motivated but also spiritually significant. The captured warriors were viewed as a special offering for the gods, and their sacrifice was seen as a renewal of life, force that nourished this divine, ensuring cosmic harmony and balance. The role of the priesthood and kingship. Human sacrifice was typically carried out by the Aztec priesthood, particularly on the top of the temples during elaborate ceremonies. The king or ruler often played a central role in these rituals, symbolizing the bridge between the gods and the people. The priest would cut the chest of the sacrificial victim, often a captive warrior, and offer their heart to the gods. This act was considered a powerful spiritual exchange that allowed the priest and the king to act as intermediaries between the gods and the Aztec people. It was seen as sacred responsibility to perform these rites correctly to ensure the gods would continue to bless the empire. Human sacrifice and social order. On a societal level, human sacrifice also had a functioning in maintaining the social order. It was deeply tied to the Aztec class system, where the elite classes often controlled the rituals and the human captives who were offered. At the same time, the people understood that these sacrifices were integral to their collective survival, giving them a sense of purpose and place within the greater cosmic order. The ritual acts of sacrifice reinforced the power of the priesthood and the emperor, but they also provided a unifying purpose for the Aztec people, ensuring that the universal balance remained in balance. Spiritual rebirth and purification. Finally, human sacrifice was viewed as a means of purification. The offering of human blood was believed to cleanse the world of impurities and maintain the spiritual health of the community. The act of sacrifice symbolized rebirth, as the gods would take the blood, transform it into cosmic energy that allowed for new growth, renewal, and a continual flow of life. In summary, human sacrifice in Aztec religion was not about violence for its own sake, but a sacred, ritualistic act meant to maintain the cosmic balance. It was seen as a necessary offering to the gods, ensuring the continuation of the sun, the cycles of life, and the stability of the universe. It reflects the Aztecs' deep belief in reciprocity, that humans through sacrifice maintain the gods, and in return, the gods sustain life itself. Without this reciprocal relationship, the Aztecs believed the cosmos would collapse into chaos. Thus, human sacrifice was an essential, sacred duty that ensured both the physical and spiritual survival of the Aztec world.